Hello and welcome to training on our Simply Hosted Plus platform. The Simply Hosted Plus is our second cloud offering. I want to walk you through initially in this first video how to access it, how to access your various customers, and from there we'll move into creating users and then programming of the phone system itself. The first thing I should note here is that the Simply Hosted Plus platform is accessed at a single web address, a single URL. This is the same place where you access it for programming. This is where you access it to see all of your customers. This is where your customers access it to log into their phone, which in this case is called the call panel. Call panel is the soft phone on the computer that they can access from wherever they are. One thing to note that differentiates Simply Hosted Plus from Simply Hosted is access. Simply Hosted Plus is available and can be accessed from anywhere for programming, for the phone, for the provisioning of phones. The public IP that you are coming from does not matter. You will be able to access Simply Hosted Plus, as will your customer, from wherever they are. So in current Simply Hosted, you provide the public IP, we open up various ports. That is not necessary on the Simply Hosted Plus platform. The other thing I'd like to note is that as a reseller, when you have your first Simply Hosted Plus customer, we at no charge provide you your own branded login page. So right now this is the standard CQ. It's simplyhostedplus.com. If you type that in, you'll see something that looks like this on your web page. But if you were to have a customer, your first customer on Simply Hosted Plus, you'll be provided a page that looks like this. In this case, this happens to be Northern. And this is where you would log in. This is where your customers would log in, so they would see your logo. When you log in, you would see all of just your customers. So that comes with your first customer. We're going to be working mainly with just this simple CQ. The programming is all the same. It's just some branding. So when you first bring somebody on board, you will be provided credentials to access your customers. So you'll be provided a URL. In this case, it's northern.simplyhostedplus.com. It would change based on your business name. And then you'll be provided a username and a password to access it. When you type that in, you will see just your customers. So it's completely segmented from any other CQ reseller with your own logo and your own customers. So keep that in mind. That will come via email from CQ with your login credentials, username, password, as well as your unique link or URL or web address. So let's go back here. Assuming that you've been provided the username and password, you simply put it in here. We're going to change this. All right, so let's just say you log in. All right, so the first thing you're going to see is just a little bit about, in general, all of your customers. You know, how many clients do you have? A client is a business. So as you add more and more businesses to Simply Hosted Plus, you will then see that in your general home page here. End users would be like a specific extension. So this just kind of shows you some general statistics as a reseller. On the left, you can have some general ideas. So if you click on clients, remember clients are just the customers that you have sold. So if you click on clients, this just happens to be kind of a test system we've got going here, a reseller. This is going to start to fill up with all of your customers. If you want to, you can see active calls. This is going to show you active calls on all of your systems. You know, that may be something that's useful to you. You can also access this if you log into a particular customer if necessary. So we'll just let this load here for a second. Right? So you can see we've got an active call here. We won't go into too much detail of that, but it'll show you how long it's been going on for and who made the call. So let's go ahead and go back to clients. Let's just say you want to access one of your customers to make some changes, and this will be completed for you when you log in. Once you submit the paperwork for assigned customer, CQ will create your client, and then when you log in, you will then see them. So if you highlight one, you can edit the client. Right? So you can change some information about them, email. There are some settings you're probably not going to change many of these, right? But you can change some information about your client. Let's go ahead and cancel this. But what you're probably most interested in is actually making programming changes to that customer. So this is how you're going to access any phone system that is SimplyHosted Plus. You're going to log into your portal. You're going to click on Clients, and then you're going to click on Connect as Client. The other thing I wanted to show you before I get out of here, this is your reseller account. You can create other users for technicians or salespeople within this account. You don't necessarily have to share your credentials if you're the owner of the business. If you want to create other accounts, you can create those under the resellers limited accounts. All right, so let's go back, click on Clients, and let's just say we want to do some programming here. We want to actually program this CQ demo system. Click on Clients, click on the one you want to program. The other thing before I go in here, this does show you some information about the customer. It shows you how many users are currently licensed on this, so you can create. This just shows you how many users you have created so far. The user limit indicates how many the person has, subscribed to, or that's how many they're paying for. So in this case, if they need to add more, let us know and we can increase this user limit for you here. The realm is, in some ways, this is their SIP server address. So if you ever have to manually program a phone, which isn't as often on SimplyHosted Plus, this is your SIP server. Okay, so let's just say we want to do some work with CQ Demo. We want to connect as the client. Right? When we do connect as the client, we are now in the phone system for this customer or this client. And this is, think of it as just accessing the SimplyHosted Nimbus for a customer. So it's going to show you some information, just some general information about the customers, voicemails, do they have any users online right now, just some things about the DIDs and so on. The first thing you want to do when you get into a customer's phone system, so this is their SimplyHosted Plus phone system, is to begin to create the extensions or to create the users. So on the left hand side you can see these are all the items. Some of them have the exact same name as SimplyHosted, some of them were a little bit different. So I kind of want to walk you through how I would program a SimplyHosted Plus phone system. You don't have to worry about setting public IPs. If you're used to asterisk SIP settings, all that's kind of gone away. You don't have to worry about that. I would hop directly into creating my extensions. So down at the bottom, you can see we've got users. Okay. These are your extensions. So you can, right here, you can see we have 4 of them. If we need to delete one, you simply highlight it, delete the user. If you need to connect, this is a great way to test a phone system. If you highlight a user and press connect as user, it will log you into their call panel right away, so you can see exactly what they're seeing and test maybe what is or isn't working for them. So instantly from your computer you can become that user to test. But let's just say you're on a blank system. The first thing you want to do is add a user. Right, so you've got first name, last name. The system will automatically create a dial by name directory for you. So inputting the first name and the last name for this user is important. So we'll say Matthew Vogel. Now if you want this to be a vanity users are a separate user from an actual phone. A vanity user is basically just a voicemail box. So if this is going to be a voicemail box or a paging adapter or a door, you simply press that. In this case, we're actually going to create a real user, so I'm not going to check that there. So first name, last name. Now username is one of the most important things for a Simply Hosted Plus platform. You cannot have the same username on any two systems. Now that doesn't mean you can't have the same extension number. You can have the same extension number on, say you have 100 different Simply Hosted Plus customers. Some of our dealers are well beyond 100 Simply Hosted customers. So let's just say you've got 100 Simply Hosted Plus customers. You could have 100 extension 205. So you can have the exact same extension number that's down here. Okay, you can have 205 on every phone system you want, but you cannot have the same username. When the customer goes to that login, which I showed you previously, this page right here, this username is how they log into their call panel. It's how they log into their soft phone. This has to be unique. Some people use email. Some people use a combination of the business and the extension number. But choosing 205 is probably not your best idea for a username. You can only use it once. So no other customer can use 205. So what you could do, let's just say the customer is, CQ demo. You could do CQ 205, right? So it's kind of customer extension number, or you can do email. You can do whatever you want, but you just can't duplicate that. From here, you want to put in their email. Okay, so we'll just go ahead and put in that. Profile. You basically have two profiles right off the bat. Either the system is going to record all of their calls, or the system is not going to record all of their calls. Call recording is included, 6-month storage. Now, even if you choose call recording disabled, the customer can still do on-demand. But if you choose call recording enabled, that just means every call of that person, inbound and outbound, is going to be recorded. Okay. Web interface password. They are going to end up setting their own password, so you're not going to have to share that with them. Voicemail pin. You probably want to shorten this a little bit. When they try to access voicemail on their phone, it will ask them for a pin. If they're accessing voicemail via the call panel, it will not. So if the person's going to be using a desk phone and they're going to be pressing the envelope key to retrieve voicemails, you probably want to shorten this to something because it will ask them to type that in. From here you create the extension and then the SIP password. This is much like your SIP secret. Don't change that, just leave it alone and type in your extension number here. Okay. You can go through, there are some other options you can change. A lot of these are items that you're probably not going to change. If you have to change your outbound caller ID, let's just say this user has to have a unique caller ID when they call out, you can set this here. Internal caller ID is probably not going to be changed. You're not going to change a lot of stuff here. If you need to change your forward number, you can. Do not disturb. These are all things that the user is going to be able to change through the call panel. Whitelist, just some other things about the extensions, who they can dial, who they can't dial, sort of a thing. Voicemail, this will be one you'll probably take a look at. You can either enable it or disable it. So in this case, this person would not have a voicemail box. And if we can turn it on, and there you can change how many limits they have. You can set some other, I won't walk through every voicemail setting, but you can turn transcription on so they can see the text of the voicemail. And then down at the bottom, if you want to have voicemail to email, you simply turn that on, and then you can decide to use the login email. So it's going to just, the login email was the mbogle I had earlier. So right here, it's going to send the voicemail there. And you can always come back in here and change this. Once you create a user, much like in Simply Hosted, you can just come back in here and make edit changes. So you're going to definitely fill in a fair amount on this first page right here. You are also going to probably make some changes to voicemails if you want to transcribe it. If you want to change voicemail limits, you can turn it on, turn it off. And then down at the bottom here, this is voicemail to email. And this one right here will delete the voicemail after it sends it. So in this case, we can either do apply an email user or just apply. So let's just say we do apply. Okay, so now we have our new user added. Now, how do you notify a user that they have an extension? How do you pass this information on to them? What you can do is you can come up here, you click on the user, and you can go back into edit it, and you can simply hit apply an email user. That is going to send an email to this user. Let me go ahead and just do a test here. Okay, that is going to send an email to that user. It's going to tell them, hey, you've got an extension. You've got an extension SimplyHosted Plus. It's going to give them the link to go to log in, and it's going to provide them their username. So it's going to tell them that their username is CQ205, and then it's going to say that their password is only known to them. So what they're going to do is they're going to come to this login page. They're going to type in their username, and what they're going to do is they're going to do the forgot password. Now we have a new training video out. It's on our website. I should show this to you right now. You probably want to disseminate this before you start to contact users. So under resources, once this loads, under resources you'll see call panel. Remember, call panel is the soft phone for SimplyHosted Plus. This is a training guide for users, and it will walk them through how to create their password and how to log in. So what happens when I sent a user the email, and you can do this to multiple people. You do the bulk email users. It sends them an email. It gives them this address, and it gives them their username. They use the forgot password. The user then creates their own password to call panel. Once they create their password, they then can log in with the username you provided and the password that they created. So just a summary. Number one, I would share this video with your customers because this walks them through the process. It kind of shows them what everything looks like. This is meant to be a user guide, and this actually, shows them how to use the call panel in addition to showing them how to log in. So when you create your users, once you're ready, you can do the bulk email if you want. That sends everybody an email. That email will provide them the website to go to and their username. When they go to that website and they type in their username, they should use the forgot password option to create their own password. Once they create their own password, they can come back in here, log in, and that takes them into the call panel. So those are my initial steps when I'm creating a phone system. This will be initially part one of our SimplyHosted training. I walked you through how to access your reseller area, how to then choose a particular customer. Once you choose your particular customer, how to create a user, and then from there, how to create a unique username and then send that information to the customer. Moving forward, we will take a look at how to create ring groups, auto attendance, time conditions, and further programming on the SimplyHosted Plus platform.